the other day I woke up and I had a dream, and I came to Tove and I just said, Tove, all right, I have this situation in this dream where I see this problem and I cannot fix this problem. How am I supposed to relate to people? Like, what is my role in regards to others? And he's just like, Samantha, all that people really want is they want to know that you love them, you encourage them, and that you support them. And it blew my mind. I was just like, all of humanity summed up in 3 words. That's how I deal with it. And so, as I've thought through striving or thriving, really feel that it's so important that we tune in to the 2 different realities that we constantly have to navigate. Our relation to ourselves and our relation to others. We know that the feeling of striving comes when we feel like we need to control, but living a life of thriving stays in constant union and connection to God. But what does it look like when we navigate life in regards to ourselves and in regards to others? There's aspects to me that I've acknowledged are my greatest strengths. So some of the things that make Samantha are I'm spontaneous, I love freedom, I also enjoy gauging an atmosphere. I'm a pretty deep thinker. I love to be inspiring. But every person, and I bring up myself so that you can start to consider you, because there are strengths, there are things that means that we're not as strong at. So if I'm spontaneous, I can often be untimely. That's one of my weakest points, and I hate it. But it's true. My timing, I am very apt, because I'm spontaneous, to not consider timing. So I have to really allow God to rein in my ambitions to make sure that I have the right timing. I also enjoy gauging an atmosphere. There's just something in me that recognizes I'm a pretty sensitive, like literally my flesh is sensitive to touch, but I feel like my being, my wiring is made to gauge atmospheres. But it also, if like it's disposed me to feeling easily hurt. And anyway, so deep thinker is another aspect for me. I know that I like to think deeply about things, but because of that, I can be indecisive because I'm concerned that maybe there's another thought that I should have considered that I haven't yet. So I literally will not make a decision until I feel like I've fully thought something through, and that can impact the being untimely as well. And then lastly, a strength of mine is that I love to be inspiring. I love feeling inspired, but the negative to my personality then is that if I feel unmotivated, I feel stuck very quickly. So I think it's important to take the time to recognize, okay, so these are the things that make me me. What does that mean on the flip side? Because those things I am expecting God to fulfill and assist and help me walk through. Because if I have a tendency to be spontaneous and love freedom, and that's where I feel God moving, He also wants to move in my timing. But it means that I have to allow self-discipline and self-control from His Spirit teaching me how to have timing. Alright, so if we talked about our relation to ourselves. The other one that we have to navigate is our relationship with others. When we look at our roles in relationships with others, if we narrow it down to loving others, supporting others, and encouraging others, then I feel like we can actually impact those relationships positively. And it really keeps us from falling into the ditches of enabling problems or communication issues or getting in a codependent relationship. Like all those unhealthy ditches that we can easily get caught in, we can keep out of by simply realizing people want friends. They want you to be their friend. And I hope that this is something that will really help you move forward as you walk the life constantly pursuing thriving, because I know we're made for it and I know we can do it, and I'm so glad to share this with you. Hey, please take time to comment. If you have any thoughts on striving or thriving, or if you see this is something that you're pondering, or you have something to talk through, please comment either on Facebook or YouTube, because I care and I want to know what's going on in your world, and just let me know. So thank you so much for joining me. This is Sammy E, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.